Hello, hello, hello. My name is Kristen Williams, also known as a Chic Educator. I'm an instructional technology graduate student at Grand Canyon University. I'm here to talk about flipped classrooms. I know you're probably wondering, what in the world is a flipped classroom? Well, we're going to learn all about it today. I will quickly go over a brief outline of the different topics we will discuss. First, we will answer the question, what is a flipped classroom? Then we'll talk about the benefits of a flipped classroom. We will talk about project-based learning in a flipped classroom. We will show an example of a flipped classroom solving real-world problems. We will talk about the challenges and solutions of implementing a flipped classroom. We will show an example of a middle school flipped classroom. Then we will go over ways to get started with a flipped classroom. So let's get started. We will begin by watching a quick video that describes common issues in a traditional classroom and how a flipped classroom can resolve these issues.
This is a classroom. The teacher stands at the front, and the students watch and listen. You'll recognize this because it's probably how you were taught and how your parents were taught before you. But there are lots of problems with this approach to teaching. You see, not all students learn at the same speed, so some get left behind. And while some students learn better by listening, others may learn better by doing. This means that teachers can't always do the best job they can, but there is another way. The flipped classroom addresses these problems and makes learning more personal. First, the teacher makes a video that delivers the content they'd usually teach in class. Then they share it online with students who can watch it before the next lesson. This leaves the teacher free to spend class time leading activities that help students apply the knowledge. Students can rewind and re-watch a video as many times as they like and come back to class with questions for the teacher. So keeping up with the class is no longer an issue. Students can access the video at any time using mobile devices, giving them the ability to learn more independently. Instead of sitting and listening, students can spend class time applying knowledge in more practical ways. And teachers are free to spend their time working with students and giving them individual support and attention. The flipped classroom model is already making a difference to students and teachers worldwide, so get involved. Discover more at flippedinstitute.org and become part of the movement.
As stated in the video, in a flipped classroom, the teacher makes pre-recorded videos that the students can watch on their own time, independently, often at home. Then the class time is spent answering students' questions or with students completing hands-on assignments where they apply what they have learned. Now that we know what a flipped classroom is, we will watch a brief video that describes the benefits of the flipped classroom.
When you're teaching the same lesson to the kids every day, you might not know each of the students as personally or as individualized as you would know in a flipped classroom, knowing what they need specifically and what they need to be retaught or where they could move ahead and they could really kind of advance and enhance their learning. When you are doing flipped learning, you're creating the individual experience with direct instruction, but now you have all this opportunity for community experience, you have this opportunity for one-on-one teacher experience, smaller groups, people doing different things at the exact same time. It might look to the outsider a little bit more messy, but what it is it's more individualized and personalized for the student and meeting them where they're at. You just have to try it once and get that into your classroom, and you'll be surprised in a really great way about the students and how they're able to learn.
So let's review. There are several benefits of a flipped classroom. First, it allows teachers to give more individualized attention to students. It allows more time for self-exploration and applying knowledge. It allows students to ask more detailed and relevant questions. It builds better relationships with students. It allows teachers to build better relationships with students. Students can learn at their own pace. It allows time for differentiation, and it gives students more time for collaboration. As stated in the video, the overall benefit of the flipped classroom is individualized and personalized experience for the student. The student gets to learn in an environment that's customized to their individual needs. Next, we will talk about PBL and the flipped classroom. PBL is a term we hear a lot in today's educational world. In the following video, we will see what PBL is and how the flipped classroom creates a suitable environment for the PBL learning.
Now, I wanted to talk about PBLs because PBLs and the flipped classroom go together really, really well together. Now, a PBL can stand for two things. It can stand for project-based learning, or it can stand for problem-based learning. Now, people write entire books and host seminars and do all sorts of things for PBL. I'm going to knock it over in 2 minutes. So if you like the sound of it, you've got to go and find out some other stuff elsewhere because there's just not enough time to cover everything to know about PBLs. But two ways that I use PBLs in my own teaching, I can talk about. So once I've made a video and my students have watched that video at home, they can then come into class and start working on a project. Now, in my ICT class or my digital technology class, that might look like coming into class and programming a Lego robot to make its way through a maze. Or it might look like taking a piece of software and creating like a computer game using Scratch 2.0 is a really cool one. So in terms of digital technology, almost all of the stuff I do in my classroom is project-based learning. They're given a project and then they're taught little steps at home via flipped learning, and then they can add to their project. They can add to their robot that does cool stuff. They can add to their computer game. They can add a score counter. They can add this. They can add that. So that's how I do PBLs in my digital technology class. Now, I do problem-based learning less, but I do it occasionally in my maths classes. Now, this is where I'll show them, I'll give them a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of direct instruction in the videos at home, and then I might ask them quite an open-ended question that they can start working on. Here's an example of the sort of open-ended problem that I might give to my Year 9 students who are covering area and volume. This question, how many golf balls fit in a school bus? Now, that's probably not like a lot of maths questions that you've seen in the past. There's no numbers there. They've got to go away, they've got to figure stuff out, and they've got to come up with a plausible answer for the question, how many golf balls fit in a school bus? And this is usually in a collaborative way, in small groups, working on the maths involved, area and volume, around this kind of question. Now, will PBLs work in your subject area? Now, there are probably ways to do it in all subject areas, but it's clearly going to work better in certain subjects. So if you want to combine the flipped classroom with PBLs, project-based learning or problem-based learning, have a think about how it works in your particular subject area and then go from there. Okay, that's PBLs with the flipped classroom.
As we learned from the video, project-based learning and problem-based learning are two terms that are sometimes used interchangeably. However, project-based learning is when students expand their knowledge through completing a project, whereas problem-based learning is when students are given an open-ended question that they must answer. The reason why these two terms are normally used interchangeably is because both of them involve applying knowledge to solve a problem. Even with project-based learning, most projects begin with an essential question. A flipped classroom provides a great environment for project-based and problem-based learning. Next, we will talk about the flipped classroom and how it can be used to solve real-world problems. A great way to increase student engagement is through showing them how the information they are learning applies to the real world. I'm pretty sure we're all aware that children can sometimes be a little self-centered, and it's all about me, 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 me. They want to know how what they're learning will affect them. They have to see that the information they're learning is meaningful and it can be applied to the real world. In a professional development video presented by Dr. Karen Ivey, she presents a flipped classroom model where she assigns videos to her students that were created by subject matter experts. They watch these videos at home on their own time, and when they come to the classroom, they actually apply what they learned from the subject matter expert to solve real-world problems. This flipped classroom model helps students to see the value of the information they are learning. You can find Dr. Ivey's presentation on YouTube. It's too long to watch in this setting, but you can watch it on your own time. I have included the link at the bottom of this screen so you can watch it. As we have been discussing flipped classrooms, I'm pretty sure many challenges and objections have ran through your mind. I know you're probably thinking right now, "Ooh, child, that is too much. I ain't got time for that." However, whatever objections are currently running through your mind, there is a solution that will make a flipped classroom feasible for you. In this quick video, the presenter will discuss challenges and ways to resolve those issues.
Here are some tips to overcome some of the hurdles and blunders that we've seen commonly happen as teachers flip their classrooms.
Make sure your students can access the content. We all know that not all students have access to the internet at their home, so you may have to come up with some other solutions. Get some flash drives, check them out to students, burn the video content onto DVDs, or write a grant, get a class set of some sort of digital device that you can check out to your students and they can take home and use that way.
Make sure you teach your students how to watch a video. You say, my kids know how to watch a video. Yes, they know how to watch Spider-Man, but that's not the same as watching an educational video that you've created for them to watch. Ultimately, you're trying to teach them how to interact with the video content in a meaningful way that causes them to reflect and think through what they're being exposed to. I had a conversation with a 6th grade teacher, and he said, I spent 3 weeks teaching my students how to watch a video. He had, little guys, 12-year-olds. I had 16-year-olds. It makes a huge difference based on the maturity of the kids and what they are ready and prepared to learn.
Keep in mind that the length of the videos does matter. Our rule of thumb is 1 to 1.5 minutes per grade level that the students are in. So a 4th grade student, you're talking 4 to 6 minutes max. A 10th grade student, 10 to 15 maximum. Keep it short, and if you need to make more videos that are short, that's better than making fewer videos that are long. Another question that a lot of teachers ask is, what do I do if students show up to my class and they haven't viewed the content? Well, let's be real here. I mean, there are kids who are going to show up to any classroom who haven't done their homework. That's just a reality that we live in as educators. It's really not that different in a flipped classroom, but there are ways that you can safeguard or build in some steps to keep kids engaged while they're viewing the content and that you can use to check to see if they have. We took the low-tech approach. We just wanted to see some notes. Other teachers are embedding these videos onto a web page and embedding like a Google form underneath it to collect some data from the students, having them answer some questions. You could just pose a question in the video themselves and have the students bring the answer to that question as an entrance ticket into class. So there's all sorts of different ways that you can check to see if students actually did their work, and then you as a teacher, as an educator, will just hold them accountable for that.
Ultimately, I think the key is that you hold kids accountable. If they've made the poor choice of not doing the work, then what you're going to do is you're going to take that time and you're going to say, you now have to watch the video in class while the other kids are getting help on the hard stuff.
So some teachers get a little intimidated by this idea of creating their own videos. Really, you don't need a super duper studio. You don't need to worry about high dollar cameras and things like that. But there are a few techniques that you can do to really improve the quality of your stuff. So sit in a room with good lights, have a nice quiet area to work, and don't have a distracting background. Have it something nice and simple. Those are things that you can introduce to help with the quality. Another question you should ask yourself is, do I need it to be perfect, or do I need it on Tuesday? So some teachers can get bogged down and try and have everything just perfect, but how many of your actual live lessons in a classroom have been perfect? Probably not very many. We teach naturally, we teach organically, and we speak to our students in a way that's meaningful to them. Make these videos the same way. Just make them effective content delivery tools. Don't worry about trying to make a Hollywood production out of it.
One of the beauties of the flipped class is it's very scalable. You know what? You don't have to flip a class. You could flip one lesson, or you could flip a unit, or you could flip a whole class. It's scalable. So one recommendation we would have for you is maybe you need to start small and figure out what's the best place to flip. If I were to give you a recommendation of what you should flip if you're looking for a lesson, find something that your kids struggle with. I was working with a group of fourth grade teachers, and we were talking about math, and they said, in unison to me, they said, my kids struggle with long division. I said, that's your first flipped class video, is long division. So what's the equivalent of long division for you? That's your first lesson to flip.
So to recap, make sure all of your students have access to the content.
Make sure you teach them how to watch the videos.
Build in some safeguards to make sure that all students are actually watching the videos.
Don't feel the need to make your videos perfect.
And don't try to do too much all at once. Take it step by step, take it slow, and before long, you will have flipped your class.
I hope after watching this quick video, you feel more comfortable with implementing a flipped classroom. We have heard a lot of information about flipped classrooms, but I know you're probably really wondering, what does a real flipped classroom look like? So we're going to watch a quick video that shows a 8th grade science class that has been flipped.
Eighth grade students in Mrs. Marcia Day and Mrs. Elizabeth Shu's science classes are experiencing a new classroom structure this year. It's called the flipped classroom. The flipped classroom is a teaching model that inverts traditional teaching methods, delivering instruction online outside of class and moving homework into the classroom. The flipped classroom model has students watch lectures at home at their own pace, communicating with peers and teachers via online discussions. The concept engagement takes place in the classroom with the help of the instructor. Educational technology and activity learning are two key components of the flipped classroom model. They both influence the student learning environment in fundamental ways. Many schools and classrooms have adopted the flipped classroom model. Here, we look at Clintondale High School near Detroit, which has employed the flipped classroom model to great success. Here's how it worked. Teachers created 3 videos a week. Students watched the 5 to 7 minute videos at home or in school if the students didn't have internet access at home. Class time was spent doing labs or interactive activities to illustrate concepts. The flipped model allows the teachers to support students in class. The students who might not have technology or parents to help them outside of school now have teachers guiding them in class. Teachers revisit concepts students don't understand. After students watch videos, they write down any questions they have. Teachers review those questions with students individually. Students don't get as frustrated. Before, many students wouldn't complete homework if they got frustrated with it. Working on problems in class minimizes this problem. Students receive instant feedback. Teachers have more time to help students explain difficult concepts. The results of the efforts at Clintondale were validating. As you can see, before the flip, more than 50% of freshmen failed English and 44% of freshmen failed math. In addition, there were 736 discipline cases in one semester. After the flip, the freshman failing English was reduced to 19% and math was reduced to 13%. The reduction in discipline cases to 249 was an added complement to the changes made at Clintondale High School. Even though this model has been proven successful in other classrooms across the world, we wanted to know what our very own students are thinking a mere 3 weeks into the new model. Here's what they had to say.
I think Edmodo is good because you learn more and understand more, and it's a better way to learn. It's a good resource, and it's faster than sitting and reading your book.
It's really easy to learn. You learn about it fast. I think that technology is improving the
way that I do my homework, because once it's online, there is no forgetting it. You can easily access it at home, and I feel that it affects it in a really good way, and that it's very simple to use.
I like my new class.
Also, like, get help from your friends, not just from your teacher.
I feel more invested in this environment because it's kind of easier to do instead of trying to like flip through a book. It's all online.
It's easier for us to understand and to find information clearly, and it's easy for us to communicate with our teachers.
I feel like I can dive deeper into my learning when it's online, because once I'm there, I can easily just look up something to help me improve my learning.
I think the Google Docs and the iPads and all the extra technology, like the online books, are really helpful.
It helps us learn by using websites and videos and clips.
iPads have apps and stuff that we can use to help, and we can use Edmodo, which is really helpful because it's like a Facebook and we're familiar with that, so it's easy for us to use. And we can Google stuff in Wikipedia, and it's easy if we have access to it.
I do feel like this is actually helping me a lot with learning, because it's actually kind of fun if you really think about it, because it helps you out and you get to like chat with friends. And if you need to do homework and your friend can't come over to your house, with Google Docs you can kind of chat with them and then get your homework done at the same time.
The clips show projects and experiments and teach us what to do, so it's a better learning experience.
Moto like gets you so that you get zoned in, because it's kind of like a Facebook, but it's for school.
This class with technology also makes it more fun, because if we don't have technology, it's not as fun.
I would recommend this way of learning for other science teachers for sure, because they can help their kids. A lot of kids, most of the kids like it a lot. I think it really helps.
As you can see, we've only just begun, but we are really looking forward to the results.
Lastly, you're probably wondering, so how do I get started with a flipped classroom? We're going to watch our last video that's going to show us how to get started with a flipped classroom.
I think the best way to start with flipping your classroom is to just get going. Find a video that matches some sort of curriculum or standard that you have, and have the kids review that video and talk about it afterwards. And you could use it for pre-teaching. Pre-teaching allows the students to come in with a little information for what you want them to know in class. You can create videos or even use videos that are already out there that other people are publishing. There's a lot of content, educational content out there, that we don't have to be the creators of videos. So if you find something that helps you teach the lesson or the content that you need to, you could just use that and start building some links or resources on your website. One of the things that we did in my school district is we made an entire collection of all of these little screencasts that our teachers were making, and it was accessible to the parents and it was accessible to the students 24 hours a day.
As the video stated, in order to get started with a flipped classroom, just go ahead and get started. Like any other new technique, there's going to be many hiccups when you first get started. However, you should learn from each mistake and keep trying. With continual practice, you have a classroom full of engaged students, and you'll be an awesome flipped teacher. Well, that's all, folks. I hope you have enjoyed today's presentation on flipped classrooms, and I hope you're ready and prepared to be a flipped out teacher. Before you leave, please provide me with your feedback on today's presentation. I would love to hear how I can improve this presentation, so please go to the link above and leave some feedback. Thank you and have a great day.